We've got a turkey in our chicken tractors. Look at that. She's a giggle box. These are our new chicken tractors. These are going to be used for our Cornish cross chickens. They're built on the same pattern and design as our other chicken tractors. I'm going to give you a little tour about them and answer a lot of questions I get about them. And the way we keep the doors locked is we use a bungee cord. Very simple. And that's it. Doors open, and the other turkey's going into the chicken tractor. The chicken tractors are made out of 16-foot long by 50-inch tall cattle panels. You can buy them at your local feed and tack store. We got ours at Tractor Supply. The doors are 2 feet wide, and across the top we have 2x4 welded wire fencing. This is going to help keep our larger predators out. And down here on the bottom we have 1/2-inch hardware cloth to help keep our birds in, to help keep them from getting out of the chicken tractor. If you come into the inside where the turkeys are, I'll show you how the roofing is attached. You can see that there is 2x4 blocks, and each one of those blocks we use a screw through the sheet metal, and it clamps it to the welded cattle panel wire. He wants me to close him inside. You want me to lock it too?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Door's locked. Can you get out? No. Try to open the door. Just try to push the door. You can't push the door open, can you? All right. And that's how we keep the chickens inside. So down the middle, we have just one support in the middle. It is also a 2x4, and there's one that runs across the length or the width of the middle of the roof. What I've done is where I've attached it on the ends, it would be up here, but I pushed it down to give it a more flat style roof and to where it would be the same height as a regular cattle panel. Okay. The roofing is 3 foot wide reclaimed sheet metal off of I think it's an old chicken barn. So I took chicken barn metal and made chicken tractors out of it. But this comes down to the side and gives me about 2 foot of open space where they can have good airflow. If we look down here on the corners and on this edge, you'll see I've put these metal brackets in to help give me stability and support in the corners for when I pull it across the yard. I've also put a piece of 4-inch PVC that I've split in half on the bottom. The PVC ski on the bottom will help glide the chicken tractor over any mounds of dirt, clumps of grass, or any rocks that may be in the yard. Also on our chicken tractors, the way we've attached everything together is we've used these rebar wire ties. We've attached all of the fencing and the cattle panels together with it. I know a lot of people might think that it's very loose, it's not going to stay together, it's not going to hold up. You don't have to use rebar ties, by the way. You can use any kind of good heavy gauge wire. And just so you know, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And if any of these ever break, I can always replace it with another one really fast. So repairs on this thing are usually fairly quickly. I haven't had any major repairs on them, on the ones I've had out front, and we've had those for about 4 years now. They're doing great, and ours get moved every day, every other day for about 8 months out of the year, and we haven't had any major issues out of it. So they're quite durable. They last me a long time. So the way I've attached the cattle panels to the 2x4 is I've used these 1.5-inch long fencing staples. You can see one right here. And I've used these fencing staples all the way around on the cattle panels. I've attached them to the tops of the 2x4s down the long side, and on the short side where I've taken 2 cattle panels and placed them together, they are about halfway down on the 2x4, and these hold them in there. The one thing, well, 2 things I haven't finished about this, and I'm going to finish it today, is I put wheels on the back corners. I've got them, I'm gonna put them on. And I also put a rope on the front with a piece of old water hose on it to help protect my hands when I pull it, because it can hurt sometimes. And the water hose just gives a little bit of extra cushion. These are the wheels I'm going to put on here. They're 5" by 1.5 inches. I've got a bolt I'll put in, and I'll actually go through the hole in the bracket down here, and they'll mount onto the side. They'll look similar to that. All right. Ready?
Yeah. Good?
Yep.
I'm coming as well.
The bolts that I'm using are 1/2 inch by 3.5 inch long bolts. They go through the wheels I use just enough to have space for me to put a nut and a washer on the backside. As long as I can turn the wheel by hand, we're good.
It doesn't have to spin freely?
No, it doesn't have to spin freely, because once it's down on the ground and there's weight on it and I pull it, it's gonna turn. What I'm doing now is I'm putting the handles on for the pull for the rope. Just run the rope through an old piece of hose that I found here on the property. And this way here, when I go to pull my chicken tractors, I got something nice and comfortable to grab onto. And then I'll just tie it to this side and I'll have a handle.
It won't be any heavier than it is right now. The ski and the wheels on the back help it a lot. So even I can move it if I need to.
And I look forward to your comments, asking me questions on things I may have missed, because I know I missed something.